Good morning, everybody. This is Lynn at Cheese and Yogurt Making, and we continue our journey of meeting with cheesemakers from around England. And today I'm delighted to be met with Claire from Burt's Cheese in Cheshire. Good morning, Claire. How are you?
Good morning. Yes, I'm well, thank you.
Good. Nice to meet you. So I've got some notes. I've looked at your website, your Instagram. We've chatted previously, but starting back from the beginning, how did you get interested in cheese? Where did it all begin for you?
So it began for me, I was working in the dairy industry, and I was working for a large dairy cooperative, and the site and crew where I was based, they sort of took block cheddar and we grated that and we put that into ready meals manufacturers. So it was a very different end of the scale to, I think at that point they were grating something like 400 tonne a week. And now we make about, about 45 kilos a make. From now we know where we are now. So yeah, very different side of the business, very different scale to the business. But my role there really was to go out and understand cheese making, to go and visit cheesemakers, and bring sort of some of that knowledge to our customers that were making the ready meals, and the food manufacturers. So part of that role was I did some courses at Reseed College in Nantwich, and then just really found I had a real passion for cheese making. I think it's it's just something that I really enjoyed, and then just started to play around with at home. So I started playing around with some sort of plastic tubs, and I liked soft blue cheese. At the time, there was cheeses like sort of Black Sticks Blue, which was quite a sort of a bit different to a traditional blue cheese. It felt a bit more of a modern British blue, and it just caught my imagination, I suppose, and just thought, well, it's a cheese I like, and I'll have a go at making some. So yeah, just really simply, just some plastic tubs, some cheese cultures, and yeah, it went about making it just a little baby blue. So it was just a little round. And then I suppose it coincided then with starting a family. I'd gone back to work, but just started a family and found that I probably wanted a slightly different work-life balance. Although having said that, starting a business probably does give you a work-life balance, but I'm not sure it's quite the right idea. But no, it worked really well, starting a family, and then so I took it from the kitchen table. I rented a space at the back of a local cookery school, and then that was allowed me to sort of scale up a little bit. So that was not far from home, and that was it was a great opportunity. Really, it just allowed me to scale up and sort of start supplying some local customers. So and then from there, I think about 3 years later, sort of outgrew that space, and then moved on to a farm. Just the business didn't, move the family or anything onto the farm, and took on Tom, who is we've been on the farm now 10 years, and Tom's still there making cheese with me. So it's worked out really well. Yeah, we're up to sort of making now sort of 4 or 5 times a week. Our vat takes 400 litres, so we get about 45 kilos from that. And we're still making the soft blue, although we progressed from making just a little baby blue up to sort of like a bigger cutting wheel. And we've added different things into the range on and off over the years. Tom does Treacle Market and Road Hall Market, which are 2 really good local markets. And that just allows us to play around sometimes with different ideas that he can take to market, and customers can try and get feedback, and it's nice to keeps it interesting, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously your passion are these the blue cheeses,
Yes.
which I know you've got these wonderful names, the Drunken Burt and
Yes.
your flagship Burt's Blue. How did the Drunken Burt name arise?
So the Drunken Burt, it's actually when Tom came aboard. Tom's from Hereford originally, and he liked cider, and obviously washing cheeses in cider or perry is sort of quite a traditional sort of method of cheese making. So he sort of brought that idea. We still inoculate the cheese with the blue, so we still get the blue on the outside, but I suppose the cider wash just sort of just kind of adds a sort of another level to the mold that forms. And we don't pierce that cheese, so that cheese is sort of an unspiked blue, and it's just something a bit different. It does have a very mild blue flavour, and the wash we do doesn't sort of it's not a very it's not a wash where we do it so regularly they get that sort of sticky rind. So we still allow the mold to grow. So yeah, so hence it was drunken, because it was washed in cider.
And obviously the cheeses, I mean, I can see from the website that you've won awards and things. Do you want to tell me a little bit about these awards that you've won? You must be so proud.
Yeah, we've been really lucky. I think the first award I won actually was still very, very sort of small scale. I'd entered it into the International Cheese Awards, which was still known as Nantwich. Nantwich then. So that was back in 2010. And I was actually still hadn't quite sort of scaled up the business to sort of to the back of the cookery school, but I'd entered this, the cheese awards, and we picked up a gold. So I think that was probably gave me some of the confidence to think that, I was making a cheese and it was good enough on its day. It's always on its day, isn't it? Awards in a class of some really great cheesemakers. So yeah, and then since then we've picked up awards at Nantwich or International Cheese Awards. We were named as Best Producer by the Observer Food Monthly, which was
wonderful.
Felt like a real accolade. Within, not just within the cheese industry, but to have been to recognise sort of in a very foodie. So that was great. And we've won Artisan Cheese Awards. We've picked up golds in its class and things like that. So yeah.
Wonderful. That's amazing. And what's so interesting, what I really want to talk to you about, these amazing workshops that these workshops, seeing them on the website, I can see some are sold out. Is this a new thing? Have you only started just doing those recently?
Yeah, so we actually started back at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. We sort of had an idea that it would be a fun thing to do, and there was it was actually an art studio in Altrincham that had some space that they were renting, and we just thought it would be a fun as an evening workshop to get people to come along, and we could sort of, we actually culture the milk the day before, so there's a lactic for them to sort of to drain and to work with. And then we could do a bit more of a demonstration around our Burt's Blue, in as much that we can start the process, but obviously then it drains overnight, so we can't do it all with cheesemaking, but certainly so they can get involved. And unfortunately, I suppose back in 2020 they stopped before they even started.
Yes.
And then I suppose we were just concentrated on the day job, and but it's something that we're quite keen to start doing again. So back end of last year, we've got a little bit more of a space at work that we've sort of made into our classroom.
Okay.
And we've got so the workshops are quite small. We can only fit 5 people on a work. So it's quite it's a nice sized group actually. I think it works really well. And as I say, we're still doing similar sorts of things. We do like a lactic. We actually then do something we've called a little Burtle, which is based on a Belper cannoli recipe.
Yes.
Which, you add a little bit of garlic, a little bit of salt, and then roll it in black pepper.
Okay.
And that's something people can sort of recipes that people can try at home. We use then we do the Burt's Blue, and then we take the whey from the Burt's Blue, excuse me, and make a ricotta at the end, so people can see different parts of the process. So
it's a nice little snapshot to get them interested. Obviously they're interested already, plus it's nice to gift it for someone that is just interested in cheese or likes eating it, but then it's sort of the next stage, well, do you want to see how it's made? So these are becoming very popular, and it's just an interest for people to take them to the next stage and give them the confidence at home to try, isn't it?
I think that's it, because you can read a recipe in a book, but sometimes I like to see things, see pictures, how things are done. I think that's me. That's how I sort of remember things or take things on. So I think sometimes when people talk about curds away, or they talk about sort of a lactic set versus more of a rennet set, it's just understanding sometimes the differences and how they feel and just how they're supposed to look, at different stages in the process. I mean, we can't impart everything on a workshop, but we can certainly, we've got examples of cheese obviously we've made in the dairy the day before, so people can see the curds at day 2. We can show them different parts of the process. So you're right, it's for people that kind of have a bit of an interest in making cheese at home, but people that are just interested in cheese.
It's an experience for them, and they'll give, just giving them that confidence. Like you say, it's all
Yeah.
very well reading it, even watching it on YouTube, but it's not the same as being there, is it?
Yeah, and I think, for me, it's something it is very, sometimes it's just the smell, isn't it, that you just sort of,
Yes.
and just, seeing it, touching it, feeling it is good.
Wonderful. Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. I hope they continue to do well. So going back to the cheese, the wonderful cheese,
Mhm.
where can people buy it?
So we do have some wholesalers that pick up from us, and then that's distributed in different parts of the country. So we've got lots of local shops that some of them we still supply direct. So lots of sort of mostly in farm shops, delis, and then we are in a supermarket group of sort of, I think it's a fairly northern supermarket called Booths.
Okay.
They're based sort of Cheshire, Lancashire, and a little bit over into Yorkshire. I think they've got about 30 stores. So that would be our
Wow.
sort of bigger, if you like, but we're not into any of the multiples or any of the bigger retailers.
No, but they anything online
Yeah, I
put
must
on
forget that bit. You can buy our cheeses online. We don't have a huge online presence, but we do. All our cheeses are available online.
Oh, okay.
So you can buy one of the bigger cutting wheels if you've got sort of a bigger group. So they're quite popular coming up to Christmas. Sort of that kind of like more of a
Yes.
showcase on top of it, on a cheese board. But we do
Yeah.
like the little minis as a selection. And
Wonderful.
we try and do a monthly box as well, where if we've got something we're taking to market, so something a bit different, we sort of add that in with the blue and the drunken. So,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Well, I love, it's been wonderful speaking to you, getting the whole snapshot of the background, how you started. You should be so proud. You've won awards. Your cheeses are being sold all over the place. And you're doing these amazing workshops. So it's all good news. It's just been really lovely to speak to you and catch up with you.
Oh,
Let's talk again soon. I should keep an eye.
yeah.
You've got, as I say, on social media, people can catch you and follow you.
Yeah.
So it's all on there, and I know you post on a regular basis. So we should keep an eye. We would love to taste some of these cheeses. They sound delicious.
Yeah.
And good luck with the workshops and everything. And I will catch you very soon, Claire. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Bye now.